Hey guys, so welcome to the next video in the Create series. So in our last video, we went over this right-hand side menu that helps you manipulate individual clips and then also kind of as they relate to your next clip or the clip after that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go over this left-hand menu. Now, hang in here with me, guys, because this one's going to be quite long because there is so much that you can do with this software, but I'll try and keep it quick. So over here, starting at the top, this is your first, this is, it looks like a folder. Essentially, this is exactly, we've already been over this. This is where all your content's going to live. Now, whether it's being, downloaded off of iCloud or you're uploading it because it's on your computer, this is all, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? And also was part of one of our earlier videos. So we can just skip right down to the second one. So this is a great, this is a good menu to know because titles are, they're not necessary in videos, but they are, they're fun to have. One of the things I will say is it's very cool how manipulatable their software is. So so when you put in when you put in a title, it looks exactly like your content. It's just the difference is that it's words instead of content. So one of the things I will mention is if you don't select this tool, this arrow, you're not going to be able to edit the words, and you're going to sit here very frustrated, clicking and all kinds of, just, why isn't this working? So I'm going to say that again. Whoops. So I'm going to say that again. In order to be able to actually edit the words, you have to make sure that this is selected. So when you do that, so when you select this tool, it's going to put your cursor in here so that you can, change words, do whatever, and then when you're done, you click your little checkbox. But as I said, arrow, and then you click this, and it'll give you a cursor. Otherwise, I swear, guys, you are just going to be double-clicking and yelling and want to throw your computer. So hopefully you guys, understood that. I'll make sure that this video is labeled with titles so that you guys know where it is when you're, if you forget that part later, it can be very frustrating. Okay, so with that being said, we will just get rid of that and move on to the next menu. So they have a lot of, pre-made content that you can use. The whole point of kind of the course that I'm teaching is that you're going to take your own content and make it great. But there could be a video in your world where you want to add a scene from a beach like that. I've been on plenty of vacations where this would have been a really cool video to kind of put in the beginning with a title or something. Because as you can see, it's kind of like drone footage. So unless you have a drone or whatever, it's not necessarily like you're going to be able to make that. So they do have a lot of free content, images, icons. These are actually background images, not necessarily videos, but they do have videos that you can use. Okay, so on to the next, which I kind of skipped into. So one of the cool parts about this software is you can use emojis, and also they have animated icons and animated emojis. So between these icons, which are just images, which when you watch this video, that this emoji would actually be really funny along with the video that I have here. But so you can do stationary icons, or you can also do animated icons. So you could have this angry man, or you could have the kissy kissy, but the kissy kissy is moving. So and then of course they have the static option as well. So you don't necessarily have to use it as an animated object, but that is fun to do. And then of course, when you go through these menus, they've got tons of stuff in here for you to look through. So I highly recommend that, if you're new to this software, just going through and just taking a look at all the stuff that they have, because you'll you'll be making your video and you'll think, oh my God, I saw that really cool icon or that really cool animated icon, and I really want to put that in there. So I highly recommend you just come in here and just look at what they have to offer. So with that being said, we are on the animated icons. Now, some of these you might actually recognize from some of the course videos, because I did use some of these, like this was in my ad, and this one I used, and this one I used a lot, the target, because I figured I actually really liked it because it helped draw attention to what I needed it to. So with that being said, there's lots and lots of stuff that you can do here, with adding, smaller additions, right? It's not necessarily like you're adding an additional video, you're just adding like a piece to, what you're already, doing. So if you're saying something funny, you could literally have a laughing face. You know how in Friends or, sitcoms, they always had the audience laughing? Like, you could literally make your own emoji audience laughing. So that's actually, this is pretty fun and manipulable. So this is the first menu. So the second menu is, some preset content. So one of the great things about this software is you are actually able to just come in here and use stuff that they've already built, and all you would literally do is plug and play. It's not going to be necessarily like it's not going to be like the videos that I make, because they don't necessarily, if you're trying to make like a horse video that I've made, they don't necessarily have templates for that. But if you wanted to use these for, an intro or, an outro or any of that, they have really well-made templates and presets. So I highly recommend you take a peek through here as well. Perfect, short and sweet. So now we're into the transitions. So in the last video, I mentioned that when you do transitions, here, I'm going to put the transition in here. When you do transitions, they have sound, as you just heard that was the transition. That's actually this transition making sound. But my point is that if you do not want your transitions to make noise, then you have to turn it off. So the other thing I will mention about their transitions is their transitions are a preset length of time. So when you're transitioning between one thing and another, you need to set it up so that it's a smooth transition between the two, back to back, and then you just put your transition on top of what you're already working with. So let's turn the sound off for here, and we'll just play this through. So as you can see, here, I'm going to turn the volume down a bit. So as you can see, it takes a second for it to process. And the second thing I'm going to add is, if you noticed, it was not in the center of the screen or covering everything. Now, where you fix that is with this scale button. So we have our transition selected and we scale, which when you push scale, that means that it's going to put it in the screen fully. So this transition, when we scaled this transition, it only made for a box in the center. But if we select our little tool here, we should be able to expand it to, and then of course, since it's a transition that has design in it, we want to put it in the middle. But you can scale it so that it fills the entire screen. We because I've been going from video to video, and last time I was showing you how to manipulate the size. This one's a little funk. So but that was a good opportunity for me to show you how you can actually take the transition and fit it to what you're trying to do with it. So we need to go back to here for the transitions, and I highly recommend you go through and take a look at all of these transitions. They have a ton of great stuff in here. And then if you want to do, the simple transitions, we already went over this, but the fade in and fade out, like where, okay, so let's say we don't want anything green, right? We want this video and this video to overlap just a bit, right? So you can use this as it's literally time, so you can measure this. And then in terms of seconds, let's say we're going to do, oh, we don't need fade in. Oh, it is fade in. Okay, so this one we're going to fade in 0.5 seconds. This one we're going to fade out 0.5 seconds. And what that means is that this video is going to fade out on the last 30 it's going to fade out on the last half a second, and this one's going to fade in on the first half a second. So it might take a second for it to process, but let's see what it looks like. Yep. So it actually did a pretty good job processing that pretty fast. But the point is that you now have, in this moment in time, you have some of your first video and some of your second video, but it makes for a really smooth transition that's, much less complicated than having, colors and circles and zooms and stuff, although these are really, really cool. So I highly recommend you take a peek through all of these. And we also have, along the lines of like the animated emojis and the animated icons, we have animated elements. So if you wanted to, highlight a title, you could do that. If you, this is that just reminds me of Apple. I don't know what I would ever use that for. Thumbs down, that kind of sucks, but whatever. If you wanted to, make a point on something like that. Then they've got tons of, they've got tons and tons and tons of animated content in here, which, really makes for more visually appeasing, not to mention interesting content. But I would highly recommend, like, you go through these and just look at what they have to offer, They really do have, it has quite a bit. And then as I was saying with the transitions, you use these in pretty much the same way. So we're going to put this arrow here. Okay, so see, it's huge. So we make sure we have our pointer selected, and we make it small, right? So you make it the size you want, and then you can move it around. So I'm not really sure. Okay, so here, I'm going to put this, I'm actually going to, whoops. Okay, so we are done zooming there. Put this back. Okay, so let's move you, because I actually want to put it right here, and I want to make it shorter because in this video, I don't know if you can actually hear me, but my horse here, he like runs around and he like knocks my soda over. So I'm actually I think I put this arrow like right where he kicks, which is obviously going to be very subtle, but it's actually kind of funny. So anyway, that's a way that you can use, an animated object for, enhancing any type of video, but that one, it's literally an arrow that points to where he kicked my soda. All right, on to the next. So when it comes to, sound, I obviously have music here in the background, but you can also use, they have, pre-made sound, not to mention pre-made sounds. And the difference, though, is one is like audio being like music or, whether it's no copyright or like, Beyonce, it doesn't really matter. It's audio for like a musical purpose versus like sound effects where like you could do like a camera flash or like a bomb or thunder or something that is or a champagne cork popping, a sound effect versus an actual sound. And I will also mention right now, since we're talking about this, that the Maverick Music, if you have signed up for the Maverick Music section, there are free free downloads for sound effects. There's quite a collection in there. Not to mention just a few audios as well. But so if you haven't signed up for the Maverick Music section, it's available to you if you want to, but one of the bonuses as part of that bonus. It's actually a bonus in and of itself, but one of the features of the Maverick music section is that it has a catalog of sound effects that you can use and download like right away. So with that being, so over here we've got our catalog of sounds, and then over here is actually really cool. So one of the cool aspects about this video is if you wanted to say you hate the sound of your voice and you want somebody British to narrate your video. So in this clip, I'm talking. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm also going to turn this off, and I'm also going to turn this off so that we can actually hear what this person says. So let's do Australia. All right, and then what do we want them to say? Hey, my name is Michelle. Actually, let's do, let's see. And over here, they have like a whole bunch of different names, which is really nothing to do with, it's not like you're getting to know these people. It's just the difference of like sound. So you can pick who sounds the best. So we're going to do, hi, my name is Sean. And generate. So now we can listen to,
hey, my name is Sean.
Isn't that awesome? So if you want your video to be narrated by somebody that's not you, you could literally just type out your script right here, generate it, and then add it. And you could literally make yourself have an Australian accent if you wanted. It'd be a little hard to match up your mouth with with somebody else talking like that, but it would be possible. It really, really would. So, and then of course you have speed and pitch, some things that you can manipulate down here. But over here you actually do have quite a few options in terms of if you want to. If you want to. Add an accent to your video, which I actually think is a really cool feature. I have yet to use this, but it was pretty exciting when I first got in here and saw that this was actually possible. I did play around with this, and I will admit I'm a big giant child, and I had them all swearing a whole bunch. It was really fun. So just keep this in mind if you ever needed somebody to narrate your video that is potentially not you. That's an option. And then down here on the bottom, this is just very simple. You're just exporting, the video you make, which this will be something we talk about, a little bit later after you've completed your video. But this is a great way to, exit stage left. And all you have to do is choose where you want it to land and then name it. So, and it'll instantly export it. All right. So we have gone over the right side and we have gone over the left side. So we've got a little bit more to go because I'm going to teach you how to do some pretty cool stuff in here. But you've got like your basics down for this particular software. All right. I'll see you on the next one.